Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. Funding for Chautauqua Sunrise is provided in part by the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency, with offices in Jamestown and Dunkirk, helping businesses to prosper throughout Chautauqua County. From supporting people with disabilities to enjoy great lives to providing health care services that are available to anyone, the Resource Center has been improving our county for more than 60 years. Learn more about how the Resource Center makes a positive difference in people's lives. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Hey everybody, good morning. I'm Doc Hamels. I am so happy to be here and have you with me and the rest of the crew here. We're just got a great show in store for you, and I'm going to give you a little teaser, all right? A couple weeks ago, we talked about the curse of Oak Island and all that sort of thing. Today, we're going to do another one of those mystery type things. We're talking Bigfoot. So stick around because it's going to be a fun show. And you may be interested to know more about what's going on with that whole area of research and study, because it's just blowing up on network TV and so forth. So anyways, do stick around. So, good morning to those of you who are watching me live today throughout Chautauqua County in the area. Good morning to those of you that are watching me via streaming around the world, especially to our friends over in the Ukraine. Hang tough. We always are watching you guys, and our hopes and prayers are with you. Natalie and company, all of you folks over there. Natalia, I should say, not Natalie. Good afternoon for those of you that are listening to me on WRFA 107.9, low power to the people in Jamestown, Tuesdays at 1 o'clock. Thanks for joining us. Great show in store. Let's see. For those of you that watch us on Spectrum, we are also rebroadcast, I can talk, at 2 and 8 every day of the week between now and next Saturday. So if you can't watch the whole show, and you can catch it again. You can DVR me, I guess. I don't know. Do people DVR this show? I don't know. I guess you could. That's a thought. Anyways, if you want to go back and watch the show again and you don't have a DVR, you can go to YouTube, because we post it there. That'll be there forever and ever, hopefully. And also, we're on Facebook and so forth. Now, also, because this show is going to be so exciting, you can give us a call live here at the studio at 716-753-5225. Right there it is. 716-753-5225. Don't be shy, but if you are, and you do call, you don't have to talk to us necessarily live. That's fine. But you can leave a question, and they'll ship it over here from the engineering booth over here into the main studio, and we'll pop your question, your comment. Okay? Throughout the week, if you have an announcement or an event that you want to share, you can send it to us via email. It's chautauquasunrise@gmail.com, or you can call in that number and leave a message. This happens all the time. Remember, my mission for this show and the cruise is we try to feature the cool and important stuff here in Chautauqua County, okay? And I think we've stayed true to that. We don't talk DC politics. We don't talk hardly Albany politics, although we do get a report now and then, but we talk about what's going on here in our county. It's hometown TV. All right. So with all that and talking about hometown TV, hometown stuff, it's still grape harvest season. So I often mention this because it's really important, is that they are harvesting grapes all over the county, at least on our part of the world. And just be mindful that you'll have tractors and semis and grape bins on back of trailers coming and going, hauling their grapes to be processed at different locations. Sometimes at night they're hauling and picking as well, and it's hard to see them sometimes because they're moving around fast. So just be mindful and give them a break if they're trying to get out into the main highway, and everybody be safe. But little extra traffic out on the rural roads these days. Okay. Sad note, Emerald, right? We lost Hagrid. Robbie Coltrane, who played the character Hagrid in the Harry Potter series, died yesterday. I'm crushed. He's right up there with Sergeant Schultz from Hogan's Heroes. They're two of my favorite all-time characters in TV and cinema. But Hagrid was just one of those fun-loving, big old oafy kind of guys that were in the series and just made the Harry Potter series. So I just share that sad news with you. Gosh. All right, moving along. Breast cancer awareness. I got some chance. I'm always opposite. We have our pink little ribbon there to remind me to tell you that this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I'm certain you've probably seen some ads about that. You know what to do. If you haven't had your mammogram, ladies, please consider it. If you have any concerns, you feel something in your chest area, your breast area, don't wait. Talk to your doctor, get it checked out, go get a mammogram, get a second opinion, whatever it takes, because this stuff is treatable. It's not like you got to end your life because of it. All right. Men, same thing. If you have any concerns, men get breast cancer, and I actually know at least one person that had it and is doing quite well. All right, breast cancer awareness, do what you got to do. We have a poster, I think, Jeff, we got that picture that popped up. There's a fundraiser tomorrow. Do I have that? Okay, let's pop that up. Okay, give me a second. Okay, there's a couple individuals that I know of, and I know, that are hitting some bumps in the road here through some medical issues and so forth. And one is a fellow musician. His name is, keep talking, he says, is Derek Davis. He's been a musician in the air for a number of years. And he and his significant other, Angel Bush, just had a little baby boy, Drake. But they've had some bumps in the road because of hospitalizations and so forth. And tomorrow at the Cooler in Sherman, New York, there's going to be a fundraiser. And the band I play with, the Midnight Growlers, we're going to be playing from 12 to 2 for the benefit. And as soon as we get that poster to pop up, we'll see it a little bit more. But if not, that's okay. The Cooler is over in Sherman. It's on the main road. And it's a real interesting place. I've never been there before yesterday. And it's a great little location. It's got an outdoor area for the band to play and picnic tables. And there's a restaurant and they're going to have a Chinese raffle where, you got the baskets and you buy a ticket and you put it in the bag or whatever. And then they draw the name or number out later on. There's about 50-50. They lost it. Okay. If we do find it, we'll pop it up somewhere along the line here as a reminder. Let's see what else is going on there. They told me there's a 50-50. They're giving away a package of meat, I guess, and so forth. They've got all kinds of donations. The community of Sherman, of course, is one of those, just like many of our hometowns, where they get behind a really good cause. And so it should be a lot of fun. There's going to be other bands and some other musicians there. And so I encourage you, it's supposed to be a beautiful day. Come out to the cooler tomorrow from noon to 8 o'clock tomorrow night. All right. There's other things going on as well throughout the county, and we will get to those here shortly. So let me tell you a few things that are going on in my hometown of Ripley. I got to make sure I don't get myself into a situation where I'm talking about things that have already happened. Okay, at the Ripley Public Library, good things. Check out your public libraries. It's amazing all the different programs they have going on. Starting today, they have a coat drive. They are collecting coats for all ages and for folks that might need a nice winter warm coat. You'd be surprised. Lots of folks are running around in skinny little jackets this time of year and into the winter months. Also, on the 18th at 6 p.m., local author Elaine Brodigan is going to be talking about her memoirs and her adventures, I believe, in Africa when they did some missionary work. The 20th, Nutrition with Molly. She teaches folks how to use a variety of foods to create some really appealing meals. Also, Jigsaw Puzzle Challenge. I tried, no, you're not going to do it? Justin keeps shaking no. My cameraman over there. At 9:30 on the 22nd, they're going to have a jigsaw puzzle challenge. I'm not sure how many pieces you get, but it sounds like a lot of fun. And then movie night on the 28th at 6 p.m. Hocus Pocus. I guess that's is that a classic Halloween? That's what the Three Witches, I think? Yeah. I see that on TV a lot. They're promoting that.
20 years old, if not older.
Okay. So movie night, the 28th at 6 p.m., Hocus Pocus. All righty, let me just see what this is here. All right. So.
Actually, it's probably closer to 30 years.
Okay. All right. We have some things here, and I'll let you pop these up, Jeff, whenever you want. This is National Novel Writing Month, otherwise known as NaNo. Wasn't that like Nano? Oh, that was that. No, that was, no. All right, the 2022 NaNo, hosted by the Lakeshore Center for the Arts over in Westfield, just down the road from here. If you've been waiting for a sign that you should write that book you've been dreaming about, then consider your invitation to join the biggest writing community in the world as we tackle these words, their words now, a 50,000 word first draft book exercise during the month of November. Why not? We begin on November 1. Write an average of 1,667 words per day and end November 30th with 50,000 words and receive a free certificate of achievement for doing so. What is NaNo Month? NaNo Novel Writing Month began in 1999 as a challenge to write 50,000 words of a novel in 30 days. Now, each year on November 1, hundreds of thousands of people around the world begin to write, determined to end the month with 50,000 words of a brand new book. This group, organized as a nonprofit in 2006, it is an international, internet-famous community that supports writing fluency and education programs. NaNo tracks words for the writer like Fitbit tracks steps and hosts more than 1 million writers. You can set up your own free profile page on their website at rimo.org. So NaNo, keep going, WRIMO.org. nano.org. I suppose if you looked up nano, you could find it as well. There will be 3 nano meetings held at the Lakeshore Center for the Arts, facilitated by Mary Ellen Humphrey, who has been on our show, author and publisher, who will be tackling her 16th nano project. Plan to join in the fun on the following dates. November 2nd, the first meeting to announce their projects. All are welcome, experienced, and novices. If this is your first nano, bring your questions. Learn strategies used by those who successfully completed past nano projects. On November 16th, the second meeting, they'll check in, update progress, discuss challenges, and offer encouragement. And then December 7th, the third and final meeting, they'll review and celebrate what you've accomplished, no matter if you reached a 50,000 word goal or not. Something less than that is fine. They'll discuss what to do next. All right, and that's from my pal Rick Mascaro over at Lakeshore Center for the Arts. All right, moving along. Let There Be Light Christmas Parade. All right, this is going to be held on November 19th. At 5 p.m., and it's going to be sponsored by Grace and Abe's, and this is the Parade of Lights, okay? And good news, the boys, right here, the gang, Emerald, I don't know if you're going to join us or not that day, so it'll be the guys and Emerald. We're going to be at least taping it, and I've had a rumor, I don't know if we're going to do it live or not, like we do the Mayville Parade, but we're going to be there to cover the parade. And there's the application, and if you have any questions, you can contact Sue Poster at sposter13@yahoo.com, or give them a call at 716-753-6043. Okay, so there's $500 for the top place entry, $300 second, and $100 for the third. They encourage walkers if your club or organization wants to carry a sign or a banner and so forth. So Let There Be Light Parade, November 19th, 5 p.m. Be there because we will too. We covered it last year. All right, my Rotary Club is doing a Rural Urban Day, and it's coming November 8th. All right, this is an open invitation, and here's what you need to know. Attached is the poster, what you see right now. It's going to be a program presented by Jennifer Phillips Russo of the Cornell Lake Erie Research and Extension Laboratory. Her presentation will include the topical spotted lanternfly pest and also information about career paths in the agricultural industry. The meeting will be held at the Lake Shore Assembly of God over on Main Street in Westfield. Our guests are local growers, high school students, and various members of Rotary. It's only $10, and it's prepared by Elegant Edibles and will be served upon entry at noon sharp. They're looking for your reservations by November 1, and you can contact Janice Burkhouse at 397-8801. Again, 397-8801. Now, just to give you a quickie here, is that the Rural Urban Day has been going on for our club for many years, and it brings people from the ag world to the folks that are like myself. We're just people that live in the community, and we learn more about what's going on in the agricultural world, and it brings students together with farmers and people that are in the agriculture industry, and it's just a great day. I helped sponsor one when I was president about 3 years ago. Good stuff. Okay? So again, that's something that's open to the general public, and it's a good time. All right, some events this weekend. Starting today and then next weekend, Terror in the Trees from 7 to 11 p.m. at the Woodlot and Phillips Ulrich Community Trail at the State University of New York at Fredonia on Ring Road in Fredonia. Join the cast of Fredonia's immersive theater for a haunted trail in the Fredonia Woodlot. Tickets are only $3 for students and $5 for the general public. All right, tickets can be purchased at the door of the day at the show at the entrance to the Woodlot. Also next weekend, Harvest Moon Cemetery tours and festival at the Barker Commons, Fredonia. Enjoy guided horse-drawn carriage or walking tours through the cemetery to learn more about Fredonia's history. Carriage tours will be about 60 minutes long and will begin at the top of every hour starting at 7 p.m. and ending at 10 p.m. Walking tours will be about 60 to 75 minutes long and will start 15 minutes after the hour. On October 21 at 10:30 p.m., there will also be a special late walking tour through the cemetery with psychic medium Ivy Rivera. Those taking part in the walking or carriage tours should arrive 10 minutes before their scheduled time. Tickets are only $20 for the carriage tours, $10 for the walking tours, $25 for the late night special that evening. On October 22nd, there will also be a whole day of activities with food and craft vendors, live music, entertainment, trick-or-treating at downtown Fredonia businesses, and a whole lot more. So Fredonia is rolling out Halloween for this year. Sounds like fun. And then, number 18, a love song and a poltergeist creep show double feature to show at the Reglan Center for the Arts. All right, so a love song will be shown on October 19th at 7 p.m., weaves a lyrical and ultimately joyful refrain of the transformative act of being alone, and reminds us that love can nourish and mystify at any age. Faye is a lone traveler biding her time fishing, birding, and stargazing at a rural Colorado campground as she awaits the arrival of Leto, a figure from her past who is navigating his own tentative and nomadic journey across the rugged West. A love song is rated PG and it's 81 minutes long. Then, a typical family in a quiet suburb of Normal, California faces a frightening ordeal when its home is invaded by a poltergeist. It's being shown on October 22nd. Late one night, 10-year-old Carol Ann Freeling hears a voice coming from inside the television set. That would be creepy. At first, the spirits that invade the Freelings' home seem like playful children, but they turn angry. And when Carol Ann is pulled from this world into another, Steve and Diane Freeling turn to an exorcist in this horror classic from director Toby Hooper and producer and screenwriter Steven Spielberg. Okay, I think I've seen this movie, and it is scary. It's a PG, it's 120 minutes long. And then in Creepshow, Saturday the 22nd, following Poltergeist, two macabre masters, writer Stephen King, scary guy, and director George Romero conjure up 5 shocking yarns, each a virtuoso exercise in the ghouls and gags style of classic 50s horror comics. A murdered man emerges from the grave for Father's Day cake. A meteor's ooze makes everything grow. A professor selects his wife as a snack for a crazy creature. A scheming husband plants 2 lovers up to their necks in terror. A malevolent millionaire with an insect phobia becomes the prey of a cockroach army. Okay, and for good measure, the spirited performances of a fine cast and the ghoulish makeup wizardry of Tom Savini, Creepshow is rated R and is 120 minutes long. Well, okay, the double price of the ticket is $10. So if you want to get creeped out, that's the way to do it. So there you have it. And I think we've just run out of announcements, and we're going to take a quick break and be right back. We're talking Bigfoot this morning.
For many people, a breast cancer diagnosis can feel like a battle they're facing alone. But we are in this together because there are mothers, our sisters, our daughters, our friends. NBCF rallies and screening, supporting, and serving communities across the country. Because every woman matters. Every story is powerful. Every voice makes a difference.
Just beat breast cancer.
And every dollar helps. Together, we rise. Are you in?
What a great feeling it must be to be able to ring that bell and announce that you're cancer-free after dealing with breast cancer or any kind of cancer. So, there you go. You know, when I was a young boy, my mom and dad always said there's certain things you shouldn't talk about at the supper table or when you have guests, and basically it was politics and religion. I now throw in UFOs and Bigfoot. because nobody seems to be able to agree on anything on those matters. So today I've got a past guest who was on the show a number of years ago, and I've kept track with him over time. I want to welcome back Pete Weimer from the Bigfoot Expo that's coming up soon, and let's talk Bigfoot. So welcome back, Pete.
Thank you. Thank you.
Pete, I tried to jog my memory as how in the heck did you get involved with Bigfoot?
I was the chairman of the I Love New York Windsurfer Championships back in the 80s, and then was asked to be the chairman of the Ice Castle Festival here in Mayville in 87. And so I ended up doing a bunch of special events, and I created the Chautauqua Lake Bigfoot Expo as a tourism special event to try to bring people to Chautauqua County. I got interested in Bigfoot from a gentleman named Larry Batson, who is a famous Bigfoot aficionado. He did sport travel and outdoor shows with me. I did 9-day shows in Pittsburgh, 9-day shows in Cleveland, a 5-day show in Buffalo.
Now, when you say show, you're talking like a convention type thing?
A sport travel and outdoor
It's
show.
It's not theatrical production show.
Right.
Okay.
A,
All right.
a trade show, a
Gotcha.
consumer show.
Okay.
Would get tens of thousands of attendees to come in and shop for vacation destinations. I was there promoting We Want Shoe Cottages. And I became good friends with Larry, and Larry got me quite interested in Bigfoot. And I asked Larry back in 2011 to help me put together a Bigfoot Expo, which he did. And our first Bigfoot Expo was in 2012. And I did it annually until the last couple of years due to the pandemic. And here we are again. We're going to do it on October 22nd.
So this would be your 9th?
It will be our 9th.
Yeah.
9th.
I had to do some quick math there.
Hey, it's okay.
Well, good for you. So, okay. Let me just put it out there. You know, we sit around, my wife and I, sometimes watching Bigfoot reality shows. Some of them are really hokey. Some of them are quite compelling, and but it's the old thing. And I know what your answer is going to be. I think it's like, okay, if there's a UFO, show me a body or show me a piece of whatever. If there's a Bigfoot, show me some hair, give me a bone. I mean, that's what the people always throw at me, because I'm comfortable with Bigfoot. I think that's a strong possibility that's all true. So what do you tell people?
Well, obviously, I believe the government has had Bigfoot bodies. They say that when Mount St. Helens blew up, that they helicoptered out a dozen or more bodies of Bigfoot, and there were quite a few eyewitnesses that saw that. But again, the government won't acknowledge Bigfoot, just like they don't acknowledge the mountain lions in Chautauqua County or here in New York State, because if they did, it would change it would change tourism forever. It would change the economy. They can't acknowledge the existence of Bigfoot, because if they did, the Endangered Species Act would kick in, and then they'd shut down the woods to timber and hunting, quadrupling the cost of building a home because we'd have to import all our lumber from Canada or elsewhere, putting millions of people out of work and banks out of business from writing home loans. So it's all about the economy. The past postmaster at Chautauqua Institution, Lori, she hiked every year up in the Adirondacks with her sister for a week, and they would always come across mountain lion tracks, and they asked the park ranger about that, and the park ranger said in so many words the exact same thing I just said, that it would tank the tourism industry, it would change the whole way the Adirondack Park would have to operate, and so they just ignore it.
Well, I know there's bobcats in the area.
Sure.
You know, my son had scared one up just over on the escarpment years ago. So, you know, you see something come through. You hear about black panthers that kind of stroll through the hills and the escarpment in Chautauqua County as they're migrating or whatever.
Right.
So, you know, but how, all right, so what you're saying is it it's not government friendly to admit that there's a Bigfoot, because it has lots of ramifications. Bottom line?
Apparently. Right.
Apparently. Okay. So then you watch all these shows, or I watch these shows. I got nothing else to do some days. You got I'll make these up. The guy down in Florida, the swamp monster, and then you got the guy in the Kentucky mountains, and you got the guy in Alaska, and you got the people over in Asia and up into Siberia. So how do we figure all that in there? How's this all work?
Well, I personally believe that there's 100 or more Bigfoots in the state of New York, 100 or more in Ohio. They have all these sightings from reliable eyewitnesses, people that aren't crazy. You know, that I'm up to 45 eyewitnesses from Chautauqua County that have reached out to me, resolving themselves in the last 10 years that they have seen a Bigfoot.
In Chautauqua County?
Yeah, up to 45. Now, a number of them are professionals. They don't want to be identified. And a number of them won't even talk to me. So if there's 45 that talk to me in the last 10 years, there's probably hundreds that won't talk to me.
It's a stigma.
That they're afraid they're going to be ridiculed or made fun of.
Well, you know,
or they really do friend them.
Yeah.
Some of them, feed them off their property. They friend them. They don't want me to turn their backyard into a circus place, so that I know that they're real. I believe there's a dozen or more in Chautauqua County. I mean, there's so many acres of woods for them to hide that they got to figure it out.
So in the environment we live in today, and everybody that's watching knows what I'm talking about, if you were to say, I saw a Bigfoot in my backyard, and you put it on Facebook, holy mackerel,
Right.
the world comes down on you.
Right.
Why? So nobody wants that. So where do you go with this information? I mean, you just keep it to yourself, or is there a safe place to talk about this?
That's a good question. I don't pinpoint any of the areas that I know of from the eyewitnesses where they've seen the Bigfoot. I don't want to draw attention and have people go out there and think that they're going to be able to kill one and become a millionaire because the government will just come and take the body away, just like they do mountain lions in people's property, that if somebody shot a mountain lion by accident or whatever. But I think the government they had a roadkill in Pennsylvania about 5 years ago, and when the government came and took the body away, the eyewitnesses said, well, what about the Bigfoot? And they said, what Bigfoot? And so it just is, if people go to my website, bigfootexpo.com, there's a link right near the top of the page of 7 pictures from Western New York. They found these pictures in their home after their father passed away, and the 7th picture literally shows an adult Bigfoot and about a 5-year-old. So they're a mammal, they're a bipedal, they have babies, they obviously reproduce.
Yeah. Whew. So this has been going on from what I've read and seen for hundreds of years. I mean, this is not like a new phenomenon.
Right.
And it would appear that just like us, there's different shapes and sizes and colors and flavors, and I suppose it's similar. Like what I was saying is they're all over the world, but in different forms and different colors and stuff.
Right. The older they get, they might get gray. We've had eyewitnesses here in Chautauqua County that have seen them brown and black in color. Mostly black would be the typical color. If they're older, they've seen them as well as gray. And so I agree. I mean, they're called different names around the world, but basically they are from anywhere from the abominable snowman to Sasquatch
Yeti.
to Bigfoot to Yeti.
Right.
they're a bipedal, humanoid, ape, whatever you want to call them.
So, do you know what a Bigfoot is? I mean, if you were to define a Bigfoot, how would you define it?
A bipedal mammal, humanoid type of figurine. That's the way I would
Sort of a
describe
combo
it.
human animal.
Right. I wouldn't classify them as a gorilla or an ape.
That's a different structure altogether.
Right.
And they walk on two. Okay. And I don't mean to ask some of these questions because you may or not know these answers, but do they have speech? Do they have communication?
I believe they do.
Okay. Probably of their own sounds or something?
Correct. Eyewitnesses have said that they've heard them. They can't say that they're talking English, obviously, but they can understand that they are making sounds and noises and communicating between themselves, probably, in a manner that we don't understand.
Okay. And I also have seen and heard, and again, it's so hard to determine, am I watching good Hollywood or am I watching reality? It's because just when you get sucked into some of these shows, then you read, like a year later, we got you good, But one or two of them seem pretty legit, and I think, well, they're out in no man's land, and all of a sudden, like a mile away, they hear things. So, like, will they go hit the tree with sticks or something, or rocks?
Bigfoots, obviously, they can communicate by tree knocks, rock knocks. Have been said that I had a Native American Indian say at one of my seminars that rock knocks mean they come in peace. Some of the eyewitnesses and researchers believe that Bigfoot, Sasquatches can they mimic other animals to try to conceal their presence. So they might sound like an owl, or they might make noise of another animal to either try to lure in a meal. I believe they eat deer and smaller. One of Larry Batson's eyewitnesses that he spoke with was a young man that was walking down a railroad bed in Indiana, and he startled a Bigfoot. He saw a Bigfoot. The Bigfoot ended up dropping this club and started walking away. And as the boy kept getting closer, the Bigfoot kept looking back to see what the boy was doing. And the boy came up, and it was a billy club made out of ironwood.
Ooh.
And that's a rare wood. It had deer hair or some other animal hair on the club. And I believe that they either try to lure in a bait to an area where they can, or they surprise an animal. Doesn't have to be big. I mean, they probably eat coyotes, raccoons.
Sure. Well, you think about it, isn't that what turkey hunters do? They lure turkeys in,
Right.
We use scented chemicals on trees to bring in deer. Well, I don't know if that's legal around here, but
Right.
I know around the world they do these types of things, or they'll put out corn for pigs over in Europe and things like this, and various things that will attract animals. So I guess it makes sense. People watching right now are probably saying, "Yeah, right, Doc." They're still not buying it. So how do you find yourself in all of this? I mean, are you a presenter? Are you eyewitness? Are you the guy that says, I'm behind this, but I'm going to bring everybody that has the information together? I mean, where's Pete Weimer in all this?
Well, in the beginning, I was just going to be the chairman or creator of a Bigfoot Expo, and unbeknownst to me, I became the center of the universe to these eyewitnesses. when I was the chairman of the Ice Castle or the Great I Love New York Balloon Rally, I had people come up to me and thank me for having that kind of a event. And I get little kids that come up to me at the Bigfoot Expo and thank me for bringing these speakers to an arena where they can watch them and listen to them. A completely different reaction compared to my other efforts at special events. But my position here now that I've grown into the Chautauqua Lake Bigfoot Expo is just to try to explain the reality of the Bigfoot, the Sasquatch, their existence here in Chautauqua County and New York State, across the USA. At this year's Expo, we're having Dr. Jeff Meldrum come in. He's a world famous anthropologist. I'm flying him in next weekend. He's coming in Thursday. We're going to be setting up Friday, and then on Saturday, the Chautauqua Lake Bigfoot Expo over at Camp Anyasa, October 22nd. And Dr. Meldrum's been on dozens of TV shows, and he's going to be an authority in Bigfoot, Sasquatch that we're going to be able to present. Other speakers that we're also going to have, Steve Calls, Paul Matea, Seth Breedlove, and of course myself are going to be speaking about our experiences. It should be quite interesting. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to it.
Okay, so going back to where does Pete fit into all this? You're a believer, you're an organizer, you're a promoter, you're a gatherer of experts.
Right.
Have you seen a Bigfoot?
I have seen a Bigfoot. When I created this event in 2012, I learned that, and I look when I drive by swamps and when I drive by state lands. Instead of driving like this going forward, I drive 2 miles per hour and I'm looking sideways, looking into the swamp, looking into the state lands. And on December 8th, 2014, I was coming back from Clymer, driving by this swamp, and I swear to the Bible, I saw a Bigfoot standing there across the swamp. The sun was coming over the top of my truck. I'm looking through goldenrods on my side of the road. I had my camera. I said, just let me get to an opening. I get to an opening, and it was gone. And that's how fast they move. Obviously, something spooked them. He's realized I was across the swamp and on this road, coming back with a load of firewood. And I went home that day, got my kayak, came back, realized the swamp was too frozen to kayak in. I ended up walking down the road a good quarter of a mile before I could walk into the swamp without it going over the top of my muck boots. Walked in a quarter of a mile, couldn't make a left towards the direction of the Bigfoot. I mean, they got it figured out. They know where to hide. It's not like hunters or people like myself are walking around swamps. Mm-hmm. And I believe they hide in the swamps during the day and forage in the woods at night. And obviously there's a couple of families down in the gorge or in different gorges in Chautauqua County. I mean, they probably have a cave that they've found, and that's their shelter.
Okay, so a one-time event, or have you had any others?
I've only confirmed in my brain one time.
One time. Okay. So, do these animals live here year-round?
I believe so.
Okay. And when you got in the swamp, it sounded very similar to other documentaries I've seen where you're in a really rough, tough terrain that why would you go back there? Right. Why would somebody in a suit, a ghillie suit, is that what they call ghillie? Dress up and mess around, you know?
Right.
that sort of thing. And so really hostile kind of environments.
It is. I mean, when I walked into this swamp and I couldn't make the left-hand turn that I needed to get towards where the Bigfoot that I saw was, and it was thick. I came out about 1,000 feet from the road. A thicket bounced off of the inside of my eyeglass and poked me in the eye.
Ooh.
And I pulled out a toothpick, a stick the size of a toothpick. Now I'm crawling out of the woods. After that, I told myself I wouldn't go in the woods by myself like that anymore.
That wasn't the best of choices.
And I bought a drone, and now I carry the drone with me, so God forbid I get lucky and see a Bigfoot again, I could launch a drone a lot quicker than I could ever hope to get myself into that part of the woods.
So when you get out there was no footprints or?
I haven't found any yet. That's what I've been looking the last couple of weeks now that my season, it's tricky. I own We Want You cottages, and my season is end of April till middle of October. And now that I'm closed, I've advertised a couple of 3 weeks now in the Penny Saver. Have you seen Bigfoot? It goes to the rural areas here in Chautauqua County, and I've had several interesting phone calls, conversations, 2 Bigfoot hikes that I went on with 2 of these eyewitnesses.
Oh, wow.
And it was one of them's a local anthropologist that spoke at my Bigfoot Expo 5 or 6 years ago, and now she is up to 4 Class A sightings in Chautauqua, Cattaraugus County, and
Class A sighting. Okay, what does that mean?
apparently it means
Gold Star.
Gold Star. Big time proof, seen it without a doubt. I'm not exactly sure the different classes of a Bigfoot sighting.
Yeah.
Paul Matea, who's one of our speakers, he's from the Ripley, Buffalo area. He's a Bigfoot researcher as well, or BFRO for the Bigfoot Research Organization. When an eyewitness reaches out to him, he tries to go over, confirm or not confirm their sighting, and he has a lot of good answers. You know, he believes a lot of the sightings were something else. A bear.
Or a tree trunk. You know, I don't know how many times I've been out in the woods and all of a sudden I just stop. And because we have bear where I live,
Right.
up on the escarpment in Ripley, and it's just where a tree has fallen over, and you know the roots are like rounded, that they're sticking up there, and I have to, and especially when it's raining, everything's extra dark, and I just stand
Right.
over a minute, going like, do I have a bear? Don't have a bear, because we've had the bears. They knock down our bird feeders all the time.
Bye.
So yeah, you know, obviously there's things that were play tricks on us, but then there's the real deal. So Jeff Meldrum, I said to you before the show, I knew that name immediately. I think I've been watching him on TV, and I was kind of laughing because I remember when he had dark hair, and then he was turning gray, and now I think he's got white hair. I mean, it's like I've watched him age over the years. That's how long I've watched him, I guess, probably a good 15, 20 years. So my understanding is that Jeff has a collection of like castings of footprints and probably hair samples and things like that. So how does he work without the government getting involved?
He's a professor at the University of Idaho, and he's gotten a lot of these casts donated to him by eyewitnesses, and he is the authority
right there.
here in the United States on Bigfoot. And we're having him come, and if you can come, he'll have books available for sale and other Bigfoot paraphernalia. He'll have, and if you can't come, we're going to have it available within a few days afterwards as a video on demand for $2. And it'll be 6-8 hours in length. it'll be our best chance at trying to break even. As far as putting on a Bigfoot Expo that's very expensive, and there's just no way to break even with the attendees that we get. So I came up with the idea. I believe we're going to be the first Bigfoot conference or a Bigfoot Expo in the country that's going to be available as a video on demand within a few days. And then you'll be able to see Jeff's hour-and-a-half long presentation of his own work.
For a whopping $2.
For all of $2.
So, when I listen to this, we're really talking education here. I mean, Pete's not going to make $1 million off this. Jeff Meldrum's not going to $1 million off this. This is sharing information. And of course, there's a cost to it, whether you buy a book on Amazon or you rent a video or whatever, right? So I think that's what we're talking here. Right. And that's why it's kind of interesting to me to have you here today. All right, so I'm sitting here and going like, all right, so let's boil this down in my mind. I live in Chautauqua County. I've been here a long time now. And people that are listening maybe on WRFA Tuesday at 1 o'clock, they might say, yeah, right, we live in concrete city here, and there's a snowball chance in Hades that a Bigfoot's going to go strolling down the 3rd Street in Jamestown. But I live where exactly you talk about. I have swamp behind my property. It's just not my property, but my property is next to 100 acres here, 400 acres there. And I'm not talking grapes, I'm talking woods, that only the hunters go out there. And I think to myself, yeah, it's possible. And then for those of you that are in the East County or in Jamestown, Dunkirk area, if you haven't been in any what we call these gulfs, or because out our way we call them a gulf, but it's really like a big ravine. These are deep. I mean, I've trekked some of those things, and it was sort of like you're thrown in the ideal. You can get really stuck down in there, and it's physically demanding to move through these areas. And I'm guessing some of those ravines are at least 100 to 200 feet deep, and you got trout, you got deer. I mean,
now's a good time of the year to be looking for them because of all the grapes, the apples. I spoke to an eyewitness over at Ripley. He lives a stone's throw from the Pennsylvania border, and he had an experience in 10 Mile Creek. And obviously they got to drink a lot of water. So if you walk the ravines, walk the creeks, that's what I'm doing in my spare time. I'm looking for a footprint. I want to get a footprint cast from Chautauqua County or multiple casts. It's just a matter of hitting it right after a rain, after there's maybe mud, or they're down at the creek getting a drink. But again, they got it figured out. They probably, but they are coming in. This gentleman from the Ripley area that I went on a hike a couple of weeks ago, today, down 10 Mile Creek. I mean, we were within 500 feet of the vineyard, 500 feet of peach trees, of apple trees. They come in, they're going to go and eat.
Yeah.
And this is the time that all those harvesting, all those apples, all those grapes. So I think Target Rich is right now down in Westfield, Ripley, any of those
your fruit belt,
creeks that are little gorges leading into Lake Erie, which is their pathway.
Okay, we got a phone call.
Okay.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Jack.
Hey,
Good morning,
Lynn.
Peter. This is Linda Spalding. Peter, I knew your father.
Nice. Thank you.
I worked with him when he worked at CETA.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I really liked him a lot. Oh,
Thank
he
you.
was so much fun. Such a great person.
Thank you.
Yeah, and your story is fascinating about Bigfoot. And I've seen a lot of specials on PBS and the History Channel
There you
about
go.
Bigfoot.
History. I watch those too.
Yeah, fascinating. Very fascinating.
So what do you think, Lynn?
Oh yeah, I think there's Bigfoot, and
Okay.
I think the reason for it being kept, a secret clandestinely, is because of how it affects the economy.
No,
I definitely believe
just like
that.
she backs you on that, yeah. Okay.
I think it should enhance the economy. I'd love to see Bigfoot.
Make friends. Why not?
Right. Well, have a wonderful weekend. Your announcements are terrific. I have to go to some of these ghastly events.
Thank you.
Sounds like fun, doesn't it? Okay,
Yeah.
then. Well, take care.
You too.
All right.
Thanks again.
Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, folks, that's as simple as that. There's still about 6 minutes left, and you can give us a call at 716-753-5225 if you want to talk to Pete and ask him a question. Moving right along, I do have a question. So, all right, people right now that may be watching say, yeah, I've seen them. I'm not telling anybody.
Right.
But what if there's somebody that's watching and says, I do want to tell somebody? Who do they tell? Where do they go?
Well, they could come to the Expo next week. There's going to be a town hall meeting where we hope that eyewitnesses from the area will speak about their experience. Again, I don't think anybody's going to be site-specific, saying it's, here at this location. and
But even if they did,
right.
chances are Bigfoot's gone by then or moved on. Right?
Same way in the gorge.
Yeah.
But I would encourage anybody that has seen a Bigfoot to reach out to me at We Want You Cottages at my phone number at 716-789-3383. All those calls get forwarded to my cell phone, and I'll keep it in confidentiality unless you want to be identified and be specific.
I'm calling for a friend.
Yeah. But you don't have to feel bad. I'm not going to ridicule you, and nobody that's at the Bigfoot Expo ridicules any of the eyewitnesses that I see. And it's just a matter that they might want to get it off their chest, that they are part of that fraternity of eyewitnesses that know what they saw, but it's like anything. What did I just see? What? Their brain can't comprehend at actually seeing a Bigfoot or actually seeing another animal that they didn't expect to run into.
I would think, I'm taking a wild crack at this, but I would think this would be right in that area like a PTSD, where you're traumatized and you don't know what to do with it, and who's going to believe you? Sometimes your own spouse might say, come on now, but you really did experience it, and so, yeah. And this seems like a community that probably would be safe to check out, especially through your group here.
I'm hopeful one of these days to get some kind of video proof, footprint proof. It's, now that the trees are going to lose their leaves, it's going to be a little bit easier to see through the woods if I might be in the right area of looking. But again, it's during hunting season now, so they're going to be spooked, or they'll figure out to not come out during the day.
We talked about footprints and probably hair, but some of these shows that Linda was referring to on the History Channel, they show nests. Has anybody found nesting areas around here?
I had a lady 4 years ago now call me. She lived outside a bust, I will say. And they had a stick structure within a few hundred feet of her house. If you look up on the internet, Bigfoot stick structures, they look like a little igloo or a little made out of sticks. And my thought is that the Bigfoot might use it as a bait. Maybe they put food inside that, then a deer comes in, realizes they can't go anywhere, they get trapped, they club.
Oh, yeah.
You might club them. That's one thought. Or if you see them in the swamps, maybe it's a habitat. Maybe it's a place to hide.
Okay. Pete, we're down to a couple minutes, so let's do a quick synopsis of the expo, what to expect, how much it's going to cost, where it is, all this stuff. So go for it.
All right, so the Chautauqua Lake Bigfoot Expo is going to be at Camp Anyasa next Saturday, October 22nd. It's $20 for adults, $12 for kids under 16. I've made it real affordable. That way, we should pack the place, we hope, and it's going to be great. all these speakers are coming in. A lot of them are traveling hours just to get here, and obviously Dr. Meldrum's flying across the country to get here. And if you can't make it, consider checking out BigfootExpo.com a few days later, and we'll have it as a video on demand for $2.
All right. Pete Weimer's been my guest today, and we've been talking Bigfoot, folks. And I believe I'm good with this. I keep my eyes open all the time when I'm in the woods. Seriously. So thanks for coming out, and we'll have to do this again. Maybe bring Mateo or somebody over with you, and we'll do it again. Folks, that's a wrap for another week. We could do this all day. So Pete, congratulations on that, and well done, and good luck. Folks, we're going to do this all again next week. Our host will be Randy Burt, who's going to have his own special guest, and then the following week we're going to have a rebroadcast of another show because I'll be out of town. So take care, have a great weekend, and check out some of these great events that are coming up here in Chautauqua County. I'm Doc Hamels. See you next time. Bye-bye.